Her voice didn't crack. That was the first thing that bothered me. I was tightening a bolt on the shelf behind her, quiet, invisible, just another shadow in our living room, when she lifted her phone for a FaceTime call with her mother. I wasn't supposed to hear anything. I wasn't supposed to exist in that frame. But I did. And her mother's voice, sharp and amused, floated through the air like a blade wrapped in silk. "So, is it true? The mechanic?" My wife laughed. Not a nervous laugh, a confident one. A laugh of someone who believes she's untouchable. "Mom, don't worry," she said. "I'm just having fun. I'd never actually get pregnant for a mechanic, please. He's just my test-run husband." Test run. Like I was a prototype she was waiting to discard. She didn't realize how loud she was, or how silent I had become behind her. She didn't see me set the wrench down, slowly, gently, like it had suddenly become something sacred, evidence of the life I thought I was building. She didn't notice the way her own words hollowed out the room. But I did. I didn't say a single thing. Not that night. Not even when her mother's eyes on the screen drifted, just for a second, and saw me standing there. A flicker of guilt passed over her face. Not my wife's, her mother's. That told me everything. So I packed my tools, one by one, quietly, a funeral procession of steel, and I walked out before she even ended the call. The next morning her mother phoned me, voice trembling with entitlement rather than concern. "Why hasn't her weekly allowance entered?" she demanded. Allowance. That word was the final nail. I hung up. Later, another phone rang, this time my daughter-in-law. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes," she barked, her voice dripping with the same arrogance my wife breathed like oxygen. I replied with one word: enjoy. Then I sent the photos, the real ones, the villa, the glass walls overlooking the Swiss Alps, the fleet waiting in the garage, the fortune none of them had ever bothered to understand because they assumed mechanic meant poor. My phone rang 71 times. I didn't answer a single call, because I had already begun the quiet, controlled descent into the truth, and nothing would save them from it. The shock wasn't immediate. It was slower, colder, like frost spreading across a window. I sat in that villa, my villa, staring at the mountains. They looked honest, at least, unmoved, unapologetic, unlike her. My wife's voice echoed in my head, looping, twisting, poisoning every memory we had built. I'd never get pregnant for a mechanic. He's just my test-run husband. The words burrowed deep, not because they were loud, but because they were true. They revealed the character she had hidden for years under laughter, fake affection, and carefully timed kisses. I thought back to moments I had shrugged off, small inconsistencies, late-night girls' gatherings, the sudden privacy with her phone, the perfume that wasn't hers. I had dismissed them. I had chosen trust. Trust? What a fragile luxury. The betrayal wasn't even about infidelity anymore. It was about intent, manipulation, a long con wrapped in wedding vows. I replayed everything, our arguments, our silences, the days she seemed irritated by my presence, like my existence disrupted a script she was rehearsing with someone else. Maybe I should have confronted her right then, but confrontation is emotional, and I had no emotions left to spare. So I decided to confirm what I already knew, quietly, properly, clinically. If she thought I was a test run, she was about to learn what the finished version looked like. I didn't return home immediately. Distance sharpens clarity. From Switzerland, I moved like a ghost. Phone records, financial trails, shared locations she didn't realize were still synced, deleted messages pulled from backups, photos she thought she had hidden, receipts from places we had never visited together. Every breadcrumb led to the same truth. She wasn't having an affair. She was running a parallel life, two versions of herself, one polished and loving for me, one raw, selfish, and careless for him. And the pathetic part? He wasn't even special, just conveniently stupid. I kept everything, every screenshot, every recording, every timestamp, not for revenge, not yet, for understanding, for closure, for the moment I would finally stop caring. When I returned home, I didn't touch her, didn't speak, didn't question. I observed. Silent breakfasts, quiet dinners, her nervous glances, sensing a shift in the atmosphere, her phone suddenly face down, her smile too forced. She felt the tension, she just didn't know its source. That was the beauty of it. I wasn't exploding. I was unraveling everything, thread by thread. The final confirmation arrived in a brown envelope. Not dramatic, not theatrical, just factual. Hotel logs, DNA results related to a certain pregnancy scare, financial withdrawals she made pretending they were household expenses. Everything aligned, everything exposed. I walked into the kitchen where she was stirring her coffee, pretending life was normal. I placed the envelope in front of her. No words, just evidence. She opened it. Her fingers trembled halfway through. Her breathing quickened. Her eyes darted up to mine, searching for fury, disgust, something she could argue against. But there was nothing. I was empty. And emptiness is far more terrifying than rage. "I can explain," she choked out. I didn't blink, didn't move, didn't offer her the illusion of control. She broke down before she even finished skimming the contents, and I simply watched. Revenge didn't require shouting, or accusations, or threats, just truth. I walked her to the living room without touching her. I showed her the photos of the villa, the garage, the life she mocked without understanding. Her mouth fell open, slowly, stupidly, like her brain was struggling to process that the mechanic she belittled was the same man who had built an empire from grease, grit, and silence. This is yours?" she whispered. "No," I said. "It was ours." Past tense. She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing, reaching out like a drowning person grabbing at smoke. But I stepped back. Then I did the simplest, coldest thing. I left the house keys on the table. "And now," I told her, "it's yours." Her eyes widened. Confusion, fear, realization. "I don't want the house," she cried. "I know," I replied. "You wanted the man." Then I walked away, and she understood, finally, that the worst punishment is losing access, not assets. I didn't look back, not once. I drove to the airport with a calmness I hadn't felt in years, like shedding a heavy coat I didn't realize I'd been wearing. The mountains welcomed me again, silent, indifferent, honest. She kept calling for days, then texting, then begging. I muted everything. Because closure isn't about forgiving the betrayal. It's about outgrowing the person capable of committing it. In the end, she learned the truth. I wasn't her test run. I was the final version, and she lost access to it forever. My last thought as I stepped into the villa again was simple, clean, and absolute. Some people don't deserve the truth. They deserve its consequences.